Hello, YouTube, and welcome to my very first movie review. I've always wanted to do movie reviews, but I never actually thought, why not sit down and record? I took film studies classes. I used to have to write movie reviews, but now I'm like, let's go ahead and film one. I just went to the movies, went and saw this review will be for the new movie Baby Driver, starring Ansel Elgort, Lily James, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Spacey. All-star cast John Hamm, dude from Walking Dead, died first season. Spoilers. Or was it second season? I don't remember. I haven't caught up on Walking Dead. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's movie review, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more. I'm going to be trying to do this because I see movies all the time. I'm a movie guy. So I figure why not do reviews for them, especially since I have free time. Why not? It'd be a nice little hobby. But if you enjoyed, make sure to share it, like it, subscribe for more, and yeah, let's do it. So to start off, the movie was, it was great. It was action packed, funny. The characters had great, chemistry together and relationships. The movies, the whole movie's gimmick is, the baby. His name is Baby, Baby, and the whole point of it is that he has to listen to music in order to focus, and it helps him, do these crazy driving maneuvers that help him get away from the cops and be an ultimate bank robber, ultimate bank driver, getaway driver. You know what I'm saying? So you can see this in the opening scene. Like the movie's opening scene immediately shows you, immediately begins to show the connection that Baby has with his music. He's listening to the music as soon as they get ready to walk out of the door. Walk out of the car and go into the bank. He has iPod ready. And he plays a song. As soon as it plays, he's sitting there. He's pretending to play the instruments. He's banging on the car. He's checking to make sure, if they're ready, and everything that they doing inside is coinciding with the music. And that was a good, that was a good part of the whole movie in general to me. They had the musical editing in the movie was just crazy. Like it was scenes where he would just be walking down the street listening to music, and everything around him seemed to just be on beat with what he was listening to. Like people at the ATM pushing in the buttons, people's footsteps as they walk down the street, people slamming car doors, people to each other, people opening like store doors with the little bells and stuff like it. Everything just was just it just synthesized together, and it was just perfect. And I really like that. I really like when sound and the visuals are just coincide like that, because I'm a music guy, and the music in this movie was great as well. Like the soundtrack, I really think I'm gonna go ahead and buy the soundtrack. I might even put the soundtrack link in the description so y'all can get that. But the soundtrack was great. It was mainly old school jazz, R&B, blues, rock, old school rock, hard metal, and it was a little bit of hip hop at the end, but for the main part, it's mainly soulful music, high pace, because he usually listened to the high pace music when he's driving. But that was another thing, like when the music he listened to coincided to what he was feeling. Like he even said that he told that to his girl Lily James, who plays Deborah. He told that to her, and he was like, "Yeah, I have different iPods for different moods and different days and different feelings, And so while he's driving, he might be listening to Queen, but when he's sad, he'll listen to Lionel Richie, and like when it was a scene where they were going over the plan for the next heist, and he was just sitting there, listening to the music, and he was sitting there just pretending like he was playing the piano over there, just because that was just the music he listened to focus on something quiet like that, So I thought that was interesting. I really liked the way the music played a part in the whole thing. Like it even played a part down to firefights when they be shooting, when they would have action scenes where they would have to be shooting at people, they would shoot, and the gun sounds, like the bullets, the firing would match the beat of the song that was playing. I think the song was Tequila. I forget who sings it, but Tequila. It was like it was shooting, and he would shoot over here, pow, and it was like pow, pow, pow. Like it's hard to do without the beat, but I mean, he would shoot like this, shoot like that, and it'd be great. Like, it was perfectly on beat. And then I don't know. For me, as I'm a movie guy, but I'm also a music guy. Like I used to dabble in production and making beats and stuff. So for me, that was really special, really entertaining. Of course, you also have the driving. Because it's called Baby Driver, so you have to expect some type of cool move, especially with the trailer. Everybody, you seen the trailer. He's sitting there whipping in between the tractor trailer, backing up. He come through like this and go around it and do this flip and all this type stuff. Like it was pretty interesting, but I wasn't sure. I'm not a big CGI buff. Like I can't really spot. I mean, I can spot the obvious stuff, but editing nowadays, you can sneak a little CGI in there when nobody knows. So I'm not sure how much of it was really just a stuntman driving and all this type of stuff. But it was great. There was one scene where it was one scene where it was his opening scene after the first bank robbery. They trying to get away from the cops, and he's on the highway, and they lay down a strip wire, strip wire to pop the tires. And instead of normal action movie getaway, where you just you steer off the highway and fly somewhere, or you take the quick exit or something like that, or you just run through the cars. He maneuvers his car, like he turns the car, the back tire pops the strip wire over to the other lane where the other cop cars were coming from, and it causes them to hit it and pop their tires and flip and all this type of stuff, and they just keep going like that for some reason. Like it was so smooth. Like I was like, I didn't even expect it. I thought for sure, I was like, oh, he's just gonna have some run flats or something like that, on some Fast and Furious type stuff. But no. That joint was smooth. It got me off guard, but I liked it a lot. With the sound as well, the way it was edited, it was when you take your headphones, because he used headphones, he didn't use over the head, he just used earbuds. Whenever you take a bud out, whatever side he took it out of in the theater, like if it was on goodness, you can't see my arm. Okay, here we go. If it was on this left side, and if he took his left ear out on the left side of the theater, you wouldn't be able to hear the music. You'd only hear it from the right side, and it'll be like a little crackle fade. When you take your headphones out and you can still hear the music that's playing from them, faintly. It would be that sound. And I don't know, simple stuff like that. Simple stuff like that is what I really liked about the movie, because a lot of times big action-packed movies like this, they rely too much on the gimmicks and all that type of stuff, and they don't really follow up with the small things. And the small things are really what make the movie, at least for me personally. Comedy-wise, this movie was hilarious. I mean, personally, you had Kevin Spacey, who's a funny dude in and of himself. Like he might be one of the funniest villains you'll ever see in a movie. Like, in not even just a movie, just whenever he plays. Because I really only ever seen him as a villain. I don't think I ever seen him play a good guy per se. Like, he's always either like this snarky dude, or he just that's just his role. Like he has perfected that role. But he was hilarious. Of course, Jamie Foxx was hilarious. Even though he wasn't really, he wasn't outlandish Jamie Foxx like we've seen before. He's doing this thing now where he's done this before in other movies he's been in a similar, when he's had these similar roles, where he's just like, he's quick and witty with his words. Like it's no time in between his words. Like he's quick. Like he'll say something like let's see. I got a green box of tissues right here. Jamie Foxx would see these tissues, like see me going for these tissues, like green tissues, huh? Oh, you like green boxes of tissues? Well, back in my day we had red tissue. Like he say it all quick. Like it was funny. You could tell he was trying to be serious and like trying to make his dude sound like gritty and like no holds bar and hard and all this type. But to me, I don't know. I can't take Jamie. I just can't take Jamie Foxx seriously. I love this character. His character, it fulfilled what it was supposed to fulfill. Like, he was supposed to be the crazy guy. His name's Bats. Bats as in bat crazy. But it fulfilled what it was supposed to do. It was a scene actually that I thought was probably one of the funnier scenes in the movie. I won't tell you all the funny scenes because I won't spoil everything. But, well, at least now, this is a spoiler review. But it was a scene where Baby, it was after the first heist, Baby was just sitting there, and John Bernthal, who plays, I don't know his name, but he's the guy who used to play in Walking Dead, and he is like, he's upset at him for just being him, like for being quiet and just being a great driver. It was like, why are you angry? But he was coming up to him, asking him all these questions. He was like, took his sunglasses off and put them on him, and then Baby just casually, took another pair, put those on him, and then John Bernthal swipes those glasses off his face. Then Baby comes. Just puts another glasses on, a red pair. He jumps up and takes those. It's like, man, come on. It was like one of those little Russian dolls. Like, he just kept putting them on. I didn't know how deep his pockets was, but it was great to me, man. I thought that was hilarious. Ansel Elgort, he did a phenomenal job with a very tough task, that was asked of him. The character Baby is not the most talkative in the world, mainly because he doesn't need to be. His foster father is deaf, so he communicates through sign language and just mouthing words and stuff so he can read his lips. And he only really talks in general when either with Deborah, played by Lily James, or Doc, played by Kevin Spacey, who was the main big boss. And most actors, when given this role or given this situation, do horribly. Like, it's the worst. Like, I'm sitting here like, I hate it because they never can actually portray what they're supposed to portray. Like, they're supposed to be upset about a situation, and they'll sit there and just look like what? Like, how is that telling me that you're upset? Like, that doesn't tell me anything. But Ansel Elgort, he was great. Like, you could see the emotion in his eyes and the way he would scrunch up his face. Like, you could tell he was upset about something. You could tell when he was contemplating something, when he was actually happy, if he was sad about something, things like that. I thought that was really good. The character Baby in himself, he wasn't too, out of the norm of this genre. Classic, story of, kid whose parents die when he's young, becomes a troubled juvenile who gets in trouble a lot, does steals and stuff. This time he steals cars, and things happen. He ends up stealing the car from the wrong person. In this case, that wrong person being Kevin Spacey, and is now indebted to him and has to do whatever he says. And so, and he has to keep doing it until he pays him back. But of course, once he pays him back, the boss guy isn't just going to let him go. So it's just him trying to get out of that. Basically that's it. Of course, there's more to it because he has tinnitus, which is why he has to listen to music in order to drown out the humming that's in his ear from the accident he had in his kid. When he was a kid. But other than that, it's simple. It's a simple trope. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, it's as one of my, I don't have a problem with that trope. Like, I think it's very enjoyable. I've seen it multiple times. But I just don't want you thinking, you about to come in here and see something never seen before. Because it's not. It's been used, but they use it well. This character is done very well. I think my favorite thing about this character is how his whole life revolves around music. First off, the man has like 30 iPods. Some of them broken, some of them still work. But he listens to the iPods, like I said earlier, with certain days and on certain moods. And but while I'm watching, I'm like, my dude, it's 2017. Like, you can easily get like an MP3 or an iPod with terabytes worth of memory, in that thing, and have 20,000 songs on there and still not even break a dent. And then you could just make playlists. Like, you could just make playlists of the music that you want. You don't have to have multiple iPods. And it wasn't like they were new. They were all like the very first iPod. Like, he had the very first iPod. They could, like, I don't know. It was a little unrealistic to me. I mean, unless that's just what he wanted to do. I mean, if so, let your freak flag fly, my dude. But personally, I would have just got a regular iPod. Interesting that, music is what helps them connect to the world, not just focus, but it helps them connect to the world. Like, when he first sees Deborah, he notices her by the music that she's playing. She's actually playing a song called "Baby," which is interesting because it was his mom. It was his mom's recording of "Baby," which he thought he was the only one who had. And I'm not sure because she was a singer, but I'm not sure if she wrote and sang that song or she just covered that song. But either way, that's what caught his eye, and it turns out that she works at the same diner that his mom worked at. And so they connected through that, and they also connected by talking about different songs that had their name in it. That like her name is Deborah, so he told her that she thought it was only one song, but it's actually two songs, about a girl named Deborah. And then they joked about how if that's the case, then Baby wins because it's songs about baby every year. You get. But yeah, when it comes to her also, I loved her character. Like, she was simple, it wasn't nothing special about it. She didn't really have any character development or anything like that. I just love that she was a ride or die, man. She was down for Baby. Like, she knew, like, she ain't know everything that he was in, but she knew that he was mysterious and she wasn't telling him anything. But when she came in there with the crew and Baby looked at her like, you don't know me. And she played that junk smooth too. She won't see a lot of girls in that situation. I'm about to get some flack, but a lot of girls in that situation be like, oh, you ain't gonna pay attention to me, or you gonna act like I don't exist. This stuff. But she was clean with it. She ain't asked no questions. She was like, all right, yeah, okay, obviously something's up. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna play along. I'm sure he'll tell me later what happened, and we'll be good. Like, she was ride or die to the very end, man. And I don't know, I love characters like that who just, and they man in a tough situation, they right there with them. Like, I like that. With Baby's music as well, whenever he's happy, he's listening to soulful music and upbeat R&B stuff like that. But when he's sad, he listens to, they had a scene where he had to dump a dead body at the junkyard. And as he was walking away, he was listening to Easy Like Sunday Morning by Lionel Richie. And it was like slow motion. He was like dragging himself through. He was kicking cans, staring at himself in the windows of the cars. I'm like, what have you become, baby? Like, what have you become? Like, so I thought I really liked how the music, just was a part of everything he did. Like, it helped him connect to the world. Like, his music was his soundtrack. Like, ours, like, we as viewers had a soundtrack to the movie, but his music was his soundtrack to life. Moving to Doc, Kevin Spacey played Doc perfectly. Like, I couldn't picture, well, of course I couldn't picture because it's the only way he played, but Kevin Spacey just might be my favorite villain actor ever. He's just a perfect villain in my eyes. He's one of those villains that is hilarious but scary at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, his charm is simply just like effervescent, like, in his role. Like, it just exudes off of him. Like, you can't help but like him, even though he's the bad guy. You can't help but like he's quick with his words. Like, he's funny. Not as quick as Jamie Foxx, but he's funny. He don't nobody mess with him. Like, he's a man of few words. Like, he don't have to say much. Like, it's crazy. And he was, what I really like is that he had 100% trust in Baby, and like, he really cared for him. Like, even in the end, like, you thinking, he's just manipulating him, he's using him, he don't want to let him go because he's the reason why all his heists are working out and stuff like that. But in the end, like, once everything falls apart because Baby decided, I'm done with this. Like, instead of like killing him, like most big bosses would have did in that situation. Like they would have personally came after them, like came after their family and tried to kill him, like no remorse. But instead, he is like a disappointed father. Like he baby comes in like asking, for his tapes back and stuff like that, and he's just like, man, I don't even want to look at you. I'm not giving you your tapes back. Just get out of here. just he's just a disappointed father, and I like that. He even helps him at the end, gives him money to go across the border and stuff like that. So I liked it. It was more of a father-son relationship than anything, at least in his eyes. I don't think Baby really felt that way, but in his eyes, I think he really looked at him as if it was like the son he never had. Moving on to Buddy and Darling. And Buddy and Darling, I like their relationship as well because they also had like a ride or die relationship. John Hamm and I can say her last name, but her first name, I don't know if it's Isa Gonzalez. Their chemistry was great in the film. And like, even though they were supposed to be like these druggies who would only do the heights to get money to buy drugs, like I never got that impression from them. Like they just seemed real down to earth. I never really were, the stereotypical druggie. I thought it was really, I thought they got together really well. They were always, PDA all the time, all up on the top of each other, talking about what they was gonna do and this, that, and the third. But and it was interesting because when you heard the backstory, it was like she was the side chick, like Darling. She was the side chick. She was Buddy's side chick. Back when he was like a Wall Street broker, and eventually they were just like, let's just escape. Let's not do this anymore. Let's just do what we want, have fun, and whatever happens, happens. And they got married in Vegas apparently, and they want to get married again. Like, they just ride or die for each other. They do whatever they need to get by, and they both like cold blooded. Like, especially Darling. Like, Darling is definitely a femme fatale. Like, she was cold blooded. She told Bats like straight up, like, when my man don't like you, he get angry, I can't hold him back. Like, he sees red until you see black. Like, I was like, ooh, I like that line. But yeah, so like, if somebody talk to her crazy or look at her crazy, like, Buddy coming in, he's slicing your throat, plain and simple, slicing your throat, shooting you in the chest, whatever you got to do. And I thought that was very interesting with that whole See Red line, because unfortunately, when Darling dies in the end by the police, and well, after Baby, causes everything to mess up, so it's kind of his fault. Like, Buddy is now furious. Like, the love of his life is gone. The whole reason why he even in this thing is gone, and so he's coming after Baby. And when you see him like in a car or something, like driving towards him, like there's a red light on his face, like in order to show you that, yeah, he's angry, he's seeing red, and now it's no holding him back. Like, he's gonna keep going. Like, he was getting shot. He got shot in the chest. He got ran over. He got everything, and he still kept coming back for more. Like, it was crazy. So yeah, I thought it was a nice touch with the light and the cinematography with him, and just really showing his story through that. And now Bats, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx has shown he can be a funny bad guy in movies before, and I think he showed that trade-off in this film as well. Delivery, all his lines were quick and sharp. Like I said earlier, and he was easily the craziest person in the movie. I mean, hence his name Bats. He was crazy, but as shown in his like nonchalant killing of anyone who got in his way, like the first real firefight was because he saw that that the suppliers of their weapons were police, even though they were dirty police, and they were helping Doc out. But he saw they were police. First thing he do, didn't even ask questions. He just start shooting and cause a whole firefight. So he was definitely crazy. Like, he said he was crazy. Crazy people always say they crazy. Well, I'm crazy. I got demons in my head. That's what he kept saying. And before every heist, he would like hype himself up by saying like, that's our money in there. They stole from us. We ain't do nothing but taking it back. Like, so It was interesting. It was also interesting that for the majority of the film, he just wore red. Like he wore red shirts. It wasn't like just all red. Like there was some variation of red shirts, and it was interesting because John Hamm's character Buddy would always be angry and frustrated with him, and he wore red, so and make him red. What asked her in red, this, that, and third. So yeah, I thought that was interesting, and red, signifies rage and crazy and blood and death. So I thought it was very fitting that he wore that in the movie. All in all, I thought this movie was just top notch. Like I was in the movie. I enjoyed every second. It was funny, action packed. It had heart. I love the relationships between all the characters. I love the music. I'm definitely gonna go buy that soundtrack. I love the editing. I loved how the themes all like connected. It was one theme in particular was just baby's happiness. It's just him wanting to be happy, and it was summed up, with a Dolly Parton quote that one of the tellers at their last heist had told him while he was scoping out the place. She was like, uh, she was like, Dolly Parton said it best. She was like, everybody wants happiness without the pain, but you can't have sunshine. I mean, you can't have a rainbow without the rain. So it was, and that was depicted in the final scenes. Like right before it was about to start the heist, it started raining. And it was raining that whole time, and then at the very end of the movie, where I don't know if it was a fantasy scene where he was coming out of jail to his girl, in a nice looking car, looked like they was ready to just ride into the sunset. But as he was coming out the jail, it was a rainbow in the sky, as if to say, you finally got through those hard parts, and now you can be happy, So it was. I thought it was great, I give the movie. I would have to give the movie 4.5 out of 5 stars. Never. I can't give it a perfect only because I felt like there was something missing. It could have been something better, but I don't know. Well, if you enjoyed this review, please make sure to leave a like down below, subscribe for more, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.